Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of your faithful trip. It started in the firmament, and then we all got tricked. Life was great when we were young, with all the things we believed. Then it all got hard, unbearable, and we know we're being deceived. Forgotten, ignored, secret, and hidden. Topics that talk about how water is knowledge. Now drink from the fountain. Let's pour some on you now. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Plain Mundane Show. This is Alex. Today, we're going to read an article about how maybe we should not contact aliens. And of course, this is a reference to SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, is it? And how we're sending out signals to distant signals that we think we're receiving, and we're trying to communicate, and then you have those crop circles where genetic code is found in some sequencing, which I believe all of that really is secret technology of the elites. So I'm reading this article. If you know who I am, you know my channel, you know what I believe. I am a contactee, so I do know gray aliens exist, but I don't think they come from so far away. They're interdimensional. They come from luminaries that are much closer than what they say, and some of them probably live in the earth somewhere. Could be, you know. It's just, they are real. I've seen them. And I know people who've seen them, and I know somebody who's cleaned up Roswell. I have a video on that too. So let me read this article for you, and I want to discuss what we can pick out of it that may be true and what's not. Can I see better without my glasses? Yeah, I do. In an effort to speed up the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, some researchers are sending messages into the cosmos. Did I just move the camera? Let me check. Okay, we're good. We may not like the answer. SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, is passive by nature, a human ear cocked towards space. The hope is that there are extraterrestrial intelligences out there trying to message us, and we just need to be ready with our radio telescopes to hear, ready for that moment of contact. But listening isn't just a search method, it's a philosophy. Early SETI advocates like the astronomer and author Carl Sagan took it for granted that any alien civilization we might come into contact with would be more advanced than us, likely far more advanced technologically and even ethically. The universe, after all, had been around for nearly 14 billion years before human beings showed up, which means plenty of time for older life forms to arise. Given our assumed place as a young species in the cosmic hierarchy, and given all that we might hope to learn from our alien betters, a core SETI belief is that we should listen before we speak. Shouting into the cosmos, Sagan said, was deeply unwise and immature, the act of a toddler calling attention to themselves. Proponents of what is known as active SETI, however, believe it's a mistake to assume that any technologically mature alien civilization will automatically take the first step to establish contact with us. If we're not making an effort to signal them after all, maybe they won't signal first. It's possible that extraterrestrials are no longer using radio, and that sifting through radio waves while searching for alien life is like trying to find evidence of other people in 2018 by looking for smoke signals. I'm going to add some thoughts on that. It's different. Perhaps they assume our silence is a sign that we just don't want to talk, which means it would be up to us to start the conversation. Shouting out into the cosmos. Okay, we read that. Despite the beliefs of people like Sagan, however, SETI has often included the occasional effort to send messages into space. The first known attempt was undertaken by Soviet scientists in 1962. Using Morse code, they transmitted the words Mir, Lenin, and SSSR to Venus, on the assumption that any advanced life form would obviously be communist and would get their references. Laugh now, but that's really no different than Carl Sagan assuming alien civilizations would have the same values as Carl Sagan. The Soviet attempt was interplanetary, but the SETI pioneer Frank Drake, he of the eponymous Drake equation, which tries to calculate how many alien civilizations might exist, was responsible for sending the first deliberate interstellar message on November 16, 1974. To commemorate the rechristening of the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico, then the largest radio telescope in the world, Drake blasted 168 seconds of two-tone sound toward the star system M13. That's what the movie Contact was about, where Jodie Foster's character was working. It was noise to the listeners in Puerto Rico, but many aliens who happened to receive it might have noticed a clear, repetitive structure indicating its origin was non-natural. Also encoded in the message were the numbers 1 to 10, the atomic numbers of several basic elements on Earth, and a graphic of the solar system indicating the planetary origin of the transmission. Given, and it's wrong, what we said. Given that M13 is 25,000 light years away from Earth, it's going to take thousands upon thousands of years before Drake's message ever reaches its destination, and at least another 25,000 years before a reply would ever reach us. Light years. You know, folks, I believe we have a creation that we live in within the vibrational senses of what we can perceive, and everything else is just in higher realms, higher vibrations. You would have to ascend to different levels to. You don't just get in a rocket and travel for light years. Come on. Yet, just days after the message was transmitted, Martin Ryle, then Britain's astronomer royal, sent an angry letter to Drake. It was very hazardous to reveal our existence and location to the galaxy, Ryle wrote, for we all know any creatures out there might be malevolent or hungry. More than the people that live in the castle? I doubt it. To this day, mainstream SETI is eschewed active messaging in part out of the concern, however remote, that something malevolent or hungry might be on the receiving end, and that they might come for us. The editorial board of the journal Nature has cautioned that the risk posed by active SETI is real, and in 2006, when the International Academy of Astronautics convened a committee on SETI but refused to push for a ban on active messaging, 2 prominent members reassigned. This is like watching a sitcom. It's funny now with the knowledge that I have and we have, a lot of us. It's hilarious, but sad on humanity. Before his death, the cosmologist Stephen Hawking was on record saying he didn't think it was a very good idea to invite extraterrestrials to come calling. I imagine they might exist in massive ships, having used up all the resources from their home planet, he said. Such advanced aliens would perhaps become nomads, looking to conquer and colonize whatever planets they can reach. That, folks, has already happened. That's where the black cube of Saturn comes from. The black sun, the black hole sun, which is also known as the Kaaba, the cube, and Kabbalah would be the cube god, blah, 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 who runs our world today. But those fears haven't stopped a breakaway group of space scientists from launching a new group of messaging extraterrestrial intelligence, METI, led by the former SETI staffer Douglas Vakok. The Israeli-Russian billionaire Yuri Milner's breakthrough initiatives, a new attempt to jumpstart the research for intelligent life, has a breakthrough message component with crowdsourced competition to devise Letter to the Stars. The interest in active messaging is in part a product of the exoplanet resolution, which has seen astronomers discover scores of potentially habitable planets outside our solar system. They're just looking at luminaries, folks. And the wild distances they get of trillions is provided by the curvature of the surface we're standing on that they've invented. It makes, I've measured this distance and I know trig. I've even calculated the right parsec. If Drake's irreceivable message was like shouting at random in the middle of a forest, METI can direct signals to where there's a chance of life, including some planets there's few as 100 light years away. Given the vastness of space, METI advocates believe anything that increases the chances that we might make contact is worth trying. And they argue that the risk of active messaging is overstated. After all, humans have been leaking radio and TV signals into space for decades that could be picked up by sufficiently advanced extraterrestrial intelligence. So it's not as if we've been keeping quiet. The deeper debate about METI isn't necessarily the act of messaging, but the content. If there really are ETs out there silently listening, the signal from METI or one of the other active messaging groups may be the first thing they ever hear from Earthlings. And that would be sad if that was true. That's an enormous responsibility. Why would any single group get to decide how Earth says hello or whether it says anything at all? What's so interesting that this assumption of the right to do this, Catherine Denning, an anthropologist at New York University in Canada who studies strange tribe of alien hunters, told me, to make these choices on behalf of all humanity and a refusal to look carefully at the potential consequences, the idea that all innovation is good and let history sort it out. There's something of the move fast and break stuff ethos of Silicon Valley and the METI movement and the willingness to disregard risk if it gets in the way of potential reward. That might be acceptable if the reward is a new search engine or a social network. It is considerably less acceptable when innovation brings with it the possibility, however remote, of a world-ending threat. It's already happened, folks, at least 11,500 to 13,000 years, at least, since they took over. Everything in your world, when you hear that absolutely everything you believe is false, this is why I'm reading this article. It's entertaining to see how deep the deception goes, who's involved, and what they talk about. Oh, it's funny. If an act carries even a minuscule risk of human extinction, shouldn't we err on the side of safety given the ultimate stakes at play? But they know it is a play, and it's not real. Maybe a few of them. Not even all of these people know. And if that's the case, shouldn't we pause before sending an unknown alien civilization of unknown technological capability and unknown intentions Google Maps directions to our home planet? Ole Hagström, a mathematician at Chalmers University of Technology in Sweden and the author of the existential risk book, Here Be Dragons, thinks so. There are optimists who say that good things can come out of establishing communications, Hagström told me. We could learn wonderful things from them, but an extraterrestrial civilization of very advanced technology might be a threat, and they might want to get rid of us before we become a threat to them. There are real revolutionary-style arguments pointing in that direction. Maybe we'd be better off observing exoplanets for 10 to 20 years until we're in a better position to assess the risk of communication. The risk is too great. That's it, folks. I just wanted to entertain you today and think. I like to read things like this because what I like to do is see where the truth is in here, what's been twisted, what's been inverted, and what has been added to give us the anti-creation theories. Anything that would be anti-God or anti-Christ in this world we live on and the planets that spin around above it in their orbits, they're all on different frequencies and vibrational densities. And then above that you have a layer of water, which is why stars twinkle. You know, it's like laying on the bottom of your pool. It's like, or lying on the bottom of your pool. Is it laying or lying? I think it's lying. On the bottom of your pool with a mask and looking up through the surface of the water at things, like say leaves in a tree branch. That's why stars twinkle. And they're much, much closer. But hope you enjoyed today's entertainment, reading about extraterrestrial communications and the threats that have actually already happened. Like I said in a previous video, all of the beast system that we learned about, like Apollyon, the creature from the bottomless pit, which is now known as Apollo, and we just celebrated 50 years of Apollo. I better quit waving my hands. It's going to block my stream. But you don't have to worry, folks. The worst thing that ever could have happened of aliens coming to this planet and taking over has already happened. And they've mixed their DNA and they run our planet. And it's real. And we are actually, it's in our genes as well already. Have you ever heard that? Have you ever heard people say maybe we are the aliens or descended from some kind of hybrid cross? You might think this is way out there if you've never seen my channel before. You're not involved in any of the truth or movement or any kind of things I talk about. But it's very entertaining to read these. Thank you. Have a great day. Hope you enjoyed this. Please hit like and subscribe, really, and ring that bell. I actually need 10,000 subscribers now because I want to start doing merch and other things. And I'm trying to get the subscriber count up, so please. And so have a great day. And I will speak to you guys later. And just wait until I put up another